Hello guys and welcome to another video. My name's Mark, I'm an entrepreneur and a property investor, and in today's video we're going to be having a look at what age, what net worth is appropriate. And I think it's natural for us to want to compare ourselves with our peer group. And ultimately when it comes to wealth, time really does make a difference. Compounding of wealth takes time to take effect. It takes time to pay off a mortgage. It takes time to build the skills that are needed to have a high paying job or to build a business. So for me, the only real way that you can get a true comparison with yourself against the general population is to look at wealth by age. And today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go to the ONS, we're going to have a look at all the data behind it, and we're going to get underneath exactly how well you're doing today at your stage in life. And I think the results might surprise you. The very fact that you're here watching my video means that you're probably doing better than you think you are. So guys, if you haven't already given this video a like, please do. It helps me out with the algorithm. I've done an awful lot of research on this video as well, and I really hope that it comes through and that you guys get some value. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing. Remember, we give away the dividends from our dividend portfolio every month, so subscribers are getting cash every month, and on top of that, eventually we're going to be giving away an investment property. So no reason not to subscribe and hit that bell notification. So guys, before we get into it, Nick, come round and get the screen recording if you don't mind, and we'll put that all up on there and we'll get stuck into it. And away we go, as Rick Sanchez would say. Nice. And away we go, a Rick and Morty effort. So guys, here we go. I've got the data from the ONS. So the ONS is the Office for National Statistics, and they are responsible for collating all the data when it comes to the government's information. So it's a really good place to get your information from because they've got a lot of data points to be collecting from. So the first thing we're going to do is have a look at one of their graphs. So guys, let's get into the numbers behind everything. So as you can see, it goes up in 10-year increments, 16 to 24, 25 to 34, and it goes all the way through. And the first category we're going to look at is less than £20,000. So 64% of people who are aged between 16 and 24 have a net worth of less than 20,000. And you would expect that really, wouldn't you? But 24 to 35, still over a quarter of people have a net worth of less than 20,000. When you take into consideration 20,000 but less than 85,000, it's basically almost everybody in terms of the under 24s, and over half are people who are under 34. So there's a huge proportion of people in those age categories. But let's look at the larger net worths. What percentage of people have managed to make £1 million by 24? Well, it's 2%. It's very, very small. And in fact, the number's so small in the 24 to 34 category at 0%, and that'll be a rounding thing, that it's likely that those 16 to 24-year-olds, they have a unique talent, a unique skill that has meant that they've been able to get there, or they've inherited young, because ultimately, the only way to really get there very, very young is either to be very unique, a 1 in a million sort of person, or certainly 1 in 100,000, or to have inherited the money. But as we go up the age brackets, we can see that the percentages slowly start to rise before finally starting to decrease in the highest one as people sell down as they retire. But ultimately, that's very much as you would expect, right? That the data would support the fact that as you get older, you get more net worth. So let's have a look at the graphs that go hand in hand with this. So this is the graph that shows by the head of the household, if you like. So 16 to 24-year-olds, you can see exactly majority of people has less than 20,000. In the next category, 25 to 34, as we said, there's quite an even split of people who've got between 20 and 200,000 as a net worth. And I think that's going to really show in a minute when we have a look at how the net worths are made up of those people who have started to buy property, of those people who have started to invest in the markets. Those are the people that are going to start to be getting these larger net worths as we look at this age group. The next age group is 35 to 44. Now this is where people start to get £1 million. So I'm guessing again in this age group, inheritance is going to start playing into it, as well as the fact that time is starting to take effect. And for myself, I fall into this age group. I've got a net worth of over £1 million, so I would fall into this pink bar here. At 34, I think I probably had a net worth of, how old am I now? Probably about 1 million at 34, to be fair. So yeah, I probably was in the very small group at this point. But now at 37, I'm definitely in the £1 million plus. And yeah, definitely in this pink bar here. But quite an even spread. Even at this point, about 16, 17% of people still have a net worth of less than 20,000. In fact, at 20%, the mean, if you like, the median, the one with the largest number, that has got 85 to 200,000. And probably, again, people who have started to buy property, started to invest in pensions, started to invest in the stock market, started to benefit from compound interest. As we go up the age group again to 45 to 54, we can see that it's starting to sway more towards the wealthier end, and 55 to 64, far more millionaires than in any other age group. Again, inheritance is going to be playing a massive part of this. You know, my age is 38. I've lost one of my parents. My mum's likely to live till she's 88, which is a further 20 years, which would put me straight into this 55 to 64 bracket when I receive that inheritance, and that would supercharge any wealth that I already have once the family home's been sold and all the rest. So I think it's really important to understand part of why that's happening. Part of it's going to be, of course, that people are building wealth over time, and part of it's going to be that people are being handed wealth as they gain inheritance. So let's have a look at how this is categorized and what sort of wealth all this is. So this is a really interesting graph. It shows how the wealth is set out, how it's held by these people. So in the lowest 10%, as you can see, there's no property wealth. It's generally going to be just financial wealth and physical wealth. And what that means is it's going to be money in their bank account and items that they own, maybe a car or clothes or things like that. In the bottom 20%, again, it's financial wealth and physical wealth. And it's not until we get to the bottom 30%, i.e. 70% who are wealthier, that we can start to see private pensions and coming in. Property wealth still isn't really showing at this point, so it's likely that these people are still renters. And it's once you get to this 40%, you can see straight away that this property wealth here, this blue part here, is really starting to take up a larger chunk. And as you go up the wealth ranges, you can see that people who invest in properties, people who invest in pensions and the stock market, those are the ones that are starting to get the big wealth. And as you go up the percentages, that just becomes more and more stark. In fact, the top 10% have over 2.5 million in terms of net worth, and at least 700,000, 800,000, looking at that graph, is in property wealth. So that's generally going to be either the primary residence or investments. Private pension, again, takes up a huge amount of this, over 1 million. And we've then got a nice bit of physical wealth and quite a lot of financial wealth, whether that be cash, whether that be stocks and shares, ISAs, any of those sort of things. So a really interesting graph. And just to hark back to the one about the age groups, because I think that's key, right? When we're comparing where we are in our journey versus maybe our peer group. For me, in that 35 to 44 category, I'm certainly in the top percentages. I'm very happy with that. But maybe if I was a bit younger and I had a little bit less net worth, this would give me some reassurance that actually age does matter when it comes to net worth. There is no question, looking at this graph, to me, that age is one of the contributing factors. And that really is, guys, because it takes time to compound wealth, whether within property, ISAs, stocks and shares, funds, pensions, whatever your flavour of investment is, it takes time for your investments to go up in value. So don't be too disheartened if you're younger and you're at the early stages. You're a bit older and you can see that this graph works, then you know that the sooner you get started, the sooner you're going to create the wealth that you're after. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've enjoyed putting it together. I'm Mark Parham. This is the data in terms of where you are in life compared to your peer group. If you've got any questions, put them down in the comments. Maybe I'll do a follow-up video and maybe break down my net worth a little bit more. But guys, I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching.